In this video we're going to be taking a look at another big movie license from Ocean Software. This time based on the 1986 Sylvester Stallone film Cobra. Now, during my time on YouTube I've had many people ask me to review this game, but it's one I never had as a kid, so I don't really have any feeling of nostalgia towards it. In fact, I only saw the film for the first time around 10 years ago. I mean, I was aware of its existence back then, seeing that classic poster art on the VHS cover in video shops, but I just never got round to watching it. In the film, Stallone portrays Los Angeles Police Lieutenant Marion Cobretti, who is investigating a number of violent crimes in the city committed by a cult known as the New World, with their leader, the Night Slasher. One of these killing sprees is witnessed by a top fashion model, Ingrid Knudsen, played by Bridget Nielsen, and is placed under the protective custody of Cobra. And as a side note, if you ever visit California, you can stay in the actual penthouse in Venice Beach that was used for Cobra's apartment in the movie, but it will set you back around $500 a night. And while you're in the area, why not visit the Peterson Automotive Museum and check out the screen-used, customised 1950 Mercury Monterey that Stallone drove in the film. So the concept of the game was done by the late great Jonathan Joffa Smith and was released in late 86, early 87 on the Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC and the ZX Spectrum. And all three of these versions are very different games, but I'll talk about the differences later in the video. Cobra was also number 2 in the Hit Squad's movie collection when it was re-released in 1989. So here's the Commodore 64 version, and this is the only one that has a piece of music from the movie soundtrack. Skyline by Sylvester Levay, with an arrangement converted to the SID chip by the late Ben Daglish. And even though this track is on the soundtrack album, it was actually cut from the finished film. The game has a nice little title screen with an attract mode showing various scenes from the different levels. After pressing fire, you're treated to a little jingle and Cobra drives up in his custom 1950 Mercury. The game is split into 3 levels: city streets, the countryside and a factory, and you start with 3 lives which are shown by the 3 Cobra icons in the bottom left. The multicoloured jumpsuit wearing enemies in this game are relentless and constantly come at you from either side of the screen, and your only defence when you first start the game is your fists. But you soon pick up a knife, followed by a pistol and then a laser sighted machine gun. There's also grenades and ammo pickups for the firearms, and you can see when you're running low from the depleting icon in the bottom right of the screen, next to that hamburger. So for some reason your energy meter is depicted by a hamburger, and you can also pick up burgers throughout the game to replenish your health. I just can't remember Cobra ever eating hamburgers in the movie, but it's been a while since I saw it, so who knows. I mean, I know he cuts up a slice of pizza with a pair of scissors, so maybe pizza health pickups would have been more apt, but I digress. So you switch between weapons at any time by pressing the function keys and lob a grenade with the spacebar. Roughly halfway through the first level you can jump onto the back of a civilian's truck, which gives you a little bit of respite as the enemies can't harm you during this brief journey. Towards the end of the level you meet up with the fashion model Ingrid, who follows you to the end of the stage, and then it's on to the rural area. Also, watch out for the guys on the motorbikes and the exploding prams as they kill on contact. Make it through the factory level with Ingrid and you face the Night Slasher, who just looks like all the other bad guys in the game. And you're rewarded with nothing. No end screen, no congratulations, no kiss my arse, nothing. The game just loops back to the beginning. Now, like I said earlier, the three versions of Cobra are quite different, but at the same time, very similar, as they were all based on the same idea by Joffa Smith. Smith first coded the Spectrum version, and the other two ports were based on this. The Commodore 64 version was written and designed by Zach Townsend, while the Amstrad programming duties were given to John Grandad Gibson, who sadly passed away in 2023. In this version there are 8 levels to fight your way through, but unfortunately they all look identical. And the burgers are back in this game, although you have to shoot out random windows in order to find them. But this time they contain hidden weapons, and you don't know what the weapon will be until you collect the burger. Again, you'll either get a knife, pistol or machine gun, but no grenades on the CPC version. Some of the enemies this time round consist of dive-bombing ducks and parrots sat on windowsills that poop on you if you don't time it right when you're walking past. Unlike the C64 version, there's no energy meter, so you can't see when you're about to lose a life, which are represented by 3 boxing gloves. A blatant throwback to Stallone's Rocky days. In any given level you have an undisclosed number of enemies to dispatch, and eventually, after defeating them, you can proceed to the next stage. Now, the Amstrad version is pretty forgiving compared to the brutal C64 port, but it does have its flaws, such as the music, which is probably the worst on the CPC. Well, actually no, that award goes to Cisco Heat, but that's for another time. And why there isn't a title screen with some options or high score table, I'll never know. But at least it has an end screen, and one of the most random ones at that. Well, dang my poons, you did it! Dang my poons? What the hell does that even mean? Anyway, let's check out the original game on the Spectrum, and it is said that this is the best version of Cobra out of the 3 home micros. So when I first played this a few years ago, I thought it was terrible, but after playing it again for this video, it's starting to grow on me. It is a very hectic game with the amount of enemy sprites on screen at any given time, but you do get the hang of it. Eventually. Like in the other 2 versions, you start the game empty-handed, but this time, instead of using your fists, you have to use your head by headbutting the gang members. In order to pass each level, you need to collect, you guessed it, hamburgers. 4 to be precise, each containing either a knife, pistol, machine gun, and exclusive to the Specky version, an invincibility pill. The only downside to these weapons is the fact you only have a limited amount of time to use them, as indicated by the duck at the bottom of the screen, which gradually fades away, but even more annoyingly, if an enemy touches you, you lose the weapon straight away. Once again, you have to escort Ingrid to the end of the level, but you will end up accidentally shooting her, making her run away. But don't worry, she comes back after a few seconds, so you can accidentally shoot her again. Now, Joffa has said that he wanted to add some humour into the game, as he didn't want it to take itself too seriously. And this is apparent throughout the game, like some of the little musical jingles, such as a few notes of the Rocky theme at the start of each level. And the captions after you pick up a new weapon. Even on the redefined key screen, he has you mapping fire as the murder button. And when you've used up all of your lives, again represented by boxing gloves, it's game under. Complete all 3 levels and the game loops back to level 1, only it's now classed as round 4, so I've no idea how many rounds there are or if the game actually has an ending. The music in this version was done by Martin Galway, following on from his excellent tunes in Rambo First Blood Part 2, and this is a reworking of his Arkanoid chip tune from the Commodore 64. Cobra on the ZX Spectrum was widely praised for its scrolling, which, according to Smith, was actually a programming exercise that he ended up putting into the game. Now, what did the computer magazines make of Cobra back in 1987? Well, Zap gave the C64 port an extremely low 13%, and Commodore User only 4 out of 10. Amstrad Action gave the CPC version 30%, stating it was one of the worst games based on a film they'd ever played. C&VG spoke highly of the ZX Spectrum original, and Crash gave the game their Crash Smash Award and a massive 93%. So, what did you think of Cobra? Did you have this back in the day? If so, which of the 3 versions did you have? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video or have a taste for nostalgia, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye!